All right, we moving into the question of the day. Question of the day is, what age does childhood trauma stop being an acceptable excuse? What age does childhood trauma stop being an acceptable excuse? I'm trying to come up with a good age. If you're American, I'll say, because they kind of force people, unless you go to private school, they kind of force a lot of people to grow up slow here in America. So I would say childhood trauma stops being an excuse probably in your mid to late 20s and being an acceptable excuse. You could use it as an excuse as long as you live if you want to. I mean, if you just want to be a victim, but I'll say like mid to late 20s. Perry said after your brain fully develops. Yeah, what age is that? Ain't it like 25? What age is that? I'm finna look it up real quick. That's a great point though, P. He said after your brain fully develops. What age is the brain fully developed? Let's see. Early adulthood. Yeah, it says between 25 and 30. The brain largely developed by the mid 20s. Some areas may continue to mature into your early 30s. It's important to note that individual differences exist and the rate of brain development can vary between individuals. But it says like between 25 and 30. So I'm right in the ballpark then. Yeah, he said 25 for men. Yeah. Yeah, so the question of the day, what age does childhood trauma stop being an acceptable excuse? I would say as soon. I like that, when your brain fully develops. But I would just say, yeah, your early adulthood. Once you're grown and nothing is limiting you from like proceeding and going forward, you can legally leave your people crib. You could go get a job. You can go to school. You can take out loans. You can do whatever you need to do in this world. Once you're an adult, I don't think your childhood trauma can continue to be an excuse, because no matter what the trauma may be, if you want help, your grown ass can go seek help. You know what I mean? If you try to get help in one way and that doesn't work, go a different way. Go another avenue and another avenue until you find one that works. But I do think that it stops being a good excuse probably in your mid to late 20s. And everybody grows at different rates. So you have to give people grace sometimes. But I do believe that there are a lot of people who operate through trauma, whether it be childhood or otherwise. They just, trauma is associated with a stuck point. And some people actually like the way they get coddled and treated by others when they're in their victim bag or when they're cueing the violins. And, this, instead of looking at it like everything I've been through in my life, I kind of look at it like life experience. I don't look at it through the lens of this happened to me. You know what I mean? That's a very different lens. Like, oh, this happened to me. I don't look at stuff like that. I just look at it as my life experiences. These said occurrences took place during my journey. And I think that's the difference between like a victim mind state or a person who's at a stuck point or at a trauma point, is because they still looking at it like something happened to them versus looking at it like an experience. I was talking about this question of the day to my cousin before I came on stream. He made an interesting point. He said, oftentimes your trauma can unlock your superpower, which is very true. A lot of times when people go through traumatic things or very difficult or tough things, it's either going to be fuel for you to absolutely, wreck everything and become like the best, highest version of yourself. You become completely unstoppable. Nothing could get in your way. Or it could keep you stuck and completely diminish your potential altogether. Make sure everybody slide through, hit the like button, heavy on the like button. Y'all get the thumbs up, no puffy. You know what I mean? But it's definitely one of those things, the strongest people, I never met a strong person that ain't been through shit. And I never met a strong person who's had everything given to them. Like, if somebody tells me their life has been a pretty smooth ride, I can tell you they're a pretty weak motherfucker, more than likely. More than likely. So, because adversity builds character, and it's the only way to get strong. If you and another person go to the weight room every day for 1 hour Each of y'all go every day for 60 minutes. Y'all eat the exact same diet, burn the exact same amount of calories per day. The person who gonna put on more muscle is gonna be the person who go the hardest in that 1 hour. So you can't if one person is using their trauma to fuel them ahead, and another person is just like, you got different type of people in the gym. A person who's suffering from being stuck by way of trauma, them the people in the gym. And this is my POV. I used to work in the gym for like 3 years when I was in college. I worked at the front desk of a gym for like 3 years when I was in college. So I got to see a lot of stuff. But a lot of people that be in the gym working through their shit in the gym, them be the people that like sit at the edge of the bench for like 4 minutes and they not in their phone in between sets. Just sitting there like staring at a spot and shit. Another person who using their trauma to like rage through the workout, they probably doing HIIT, high intensity interval training. So I mean, I'm saying all that just to make an analogy to just say like every life get hard as hell for everybody in different ways at different points. Some people they hit different types of trauma during childhood, some people early adulthood, some people later in life, whatever the case may be. But it's not about like having a rough patch or going through hard times. That's just life. It's about the response to it and the decision on how you want to look at said things. Yeah, the decision on how you want to look at things. That has a lot to do with how you gonna feel about it. Your decision to have a certain POV has a lot to do with how you're going to feel emotionally about said thing. It's just like the difference between cultures who look at death and they mourn and get sad and like become completely unproductive for days, weeks, months, or even years for some people. And then you have some people in cultures where somebody passed away and it's a big ass party. You know what I'm saying? Like a big ass celebration in the streets. Like it's up there. Oh, so-and-so moved on to it's up. We turn. How you choose to look at things dictates how you gonna feel. So, but yeah, for my final answer to the question of the day, early adulthood for this. What age does childhood trauma stop being an acceptable excuse? Somewhere between 25 and 30. It's on you. Whatever it is, it's on you to work through that shit. And if you're not the type of person that's looking for answers, how that holds you up in life is also on you. It's no longer on, let's say somebody's mother traumatized them or their father traumatized them or they traumatized by something they saw from some, like, it's not on that person no more once you're a grown adult. Like, go deal with your shit. Hold them accountable while you're innocent, not responsible for yourself. Once you become responsible for yourself, like, deal with your shit how you got to deal with your shit. Straight like that. But yeah, that's it for the question of the day. If you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart now.